Alright, boys, we should be live. Everything should be working, hopefully. Let me see, my phone is working. So different streaming time and unexpected stream, I'm sure. I thought I would stream now because, you know, I don't usually do it around that time, around this time. So hopefully more people can join. It's not going to be a long stream, let me tell you right away, because it's late. So I just wanted to check a couple of things. I got a comment recently, maybe you who commented can see it. I got several comments actually asking about torpedo cruisers and whether they are good or not. And I did many tests, but I haven't tested torpedo cruisers specifically. And also today I want to see how they would perform in the beta. So we could test even outside of the beta, but this is the beta. This is the latest version of the beta in which torpedoes have been nerfed. Now we tested last time a little bit and torpedo destroyers still perform very well. In any case, I want to add to our testing scenario also some torpedo cruisers. So I think that would be a good idea. And also most of what you see here is from today's guide. I recorded successfully Poland. So that's coming soon. But for now, let's move back on to the Navy tests, and also I think I will redo some of the other ones, or better reposition them. First of all, I need to find the starting one, because they made some changes to submarines in the beta as well, so there is something to check there. Now, short test, because I don't think it's worth wasting too much time on testing designs now. They will likely change again by the time the beta goes live. Where the fuck is it? No, it must be earlier. It should be something like Navy test IC. Where is it? Start. Do you see IC? I don't see IC. No, wait. I did it again for the naval for the planes probably. So it must be somewhere. Okay, design IC. Finally, I found it. This is the starting one from which we start and design and test all of the various designs. In fact, now that I think about it, I think it would be worth making a new save here, calling it something different, so we can easily recognize this one. So let's not call it JR, let's call it nav. Tests, designs, yeah. Okay, so to test the torpedo cruisers, first of all, we need a facility that I did not build originally. Oh, I did build it. Okay, never mind then. Never mind, though I'm pretty sure we don't have the required thing, which is here though, so it should be quite easy to get it. Achievements, like, it's fun. Achievements, I think I have 0. I should have 0 because I never play on this account on Ironman, so ideally I have 0 achievements. And I think that's also good, because if in future I want to do achievement runs, at least we have all of the achievements to achieve. Okay, so I need the breakthrough point. Now we're not going. I'm sure there are some event modifiers. We're going to skip those. I just need a torpedo cruiser done. So what I need is what was it called? I need breakthrough points, and then I need the special project instance. Let me find the command. SP breakthrough 1 should work. Let me try. Perfect. So now we go for the cruiser submarine, and then we also need to do SP instant. Sorry, not the submarine, the torpedo cruiser. That's what we need. Okay. Make sure everything else is correct here. Yeah. Okay, we got it already, and we can remove SP instant now. Don't know if this applies to the eye as well, but just in case. Okay, now we need to design it. I think everything else is designed correctly, right? We have our torpedo destroyers. In future, I may want to test it again using the slightly more expensive design that also offers some anti-air. I think that's something I may want to try. The anti-air is not super beneficial on torpedo destroyers, but it's also not very expensive. I think I'll save it. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so there is 2 of them. Yeah, but that's not what we're testing now. Not necessarily, although we may want to give it a look again. Then we have the light cruiser. This is the right design. We have the heavy cruiser. It's the right design. We have the battle cruiser. It is the right design. We have a battleship, useless, but it is the right design. We have a carrier, also useless, but it is the right design. Now let's see what we can do in terms of torpedo cruisers, which I don't usually use. So I'm kind of curious here. So we can put torpedoes on them. Okay, we can put a lot of torpedoes on them. I can see that. Okay, so in here, wait, let me see. We need to make it in a way that makes sense, right? So here we need to use a battery. We can go for a light cruiser or a heavy cruiser battery. And if we're using torpedoes, I think the light cruiser battery is better, because with light attack is what we need the most. 5.2, what about if we use this one? Yeah, it's definitely a lot less. I'm assuming it's also a lot cheaper, but... Now, the fire control system is not super useful, honestly. We're going to stick to the basic one. Also, not using it at all would be possible, for sure. The engine is always very important. You can put another light battery here. That's good, because we need light attack. And then we would go for the cruiser armor too, I would say. So now the modules up here are the only thing we need to check. Hi, what's up, man? Welcome. And then we also need to check the MIO, but for this one, I'm pretty sure we are going to go for the raiding shipbuilders. That's usually the best in general. So definitely for the last one we go for anti-air in case we need it, but probably don't need it. Here we have not, we don't, fuck my life. Yeah, all good, all good, all good. I'm not mad. Yeah, it's easy anyway. So here we only have anti-air, we don't need more anti-air, so we ignore it. We go for torpedoes for max torpedo damage. Here, however, this slot could be interesting, because anti-air useless, mine warfare useless, but a float plane catapult might not be terrible, to be honest, because it gives us a lot of detection. So, and I don't think we need more torpedo damage. I think we already have very good torpedo damage. So this could be a good play, I feel. I guess we could test both, get an idea of how they work, but the extra detection is nice for sure. So for now, let's save this design before I delete it again by mistake. Then if you guys are more expert than me with torpedo cruisers, let me know, but I feel like this might work. Some light attack to deal with the front line, and then some torpedo attack to deal with everything. And then we also have some very nice surface detection. And yes, of course, we could sacrifice these for another extra 24 torpedo attack. It's also a bit cheaper. I don't know though. Yeah, let's think about this a little bit here. So we would lose 10 surface detection, which is not even that much. The design would be a bit cheaper too, and we would gain a lot of torpedo attack. You know what, since we are not going for any detection on any of them, I'll keep the torpedo launcher for now, so maximize torpedo damage. Let's also check one more thing. If we remove the anti-air, how much cheaper does it become? Well, a bit cheaper, but I think anti-air on the destroyer is a bit, on the cruiser is a bit better, because on destroyers they are never targeted, but... So like this we're... let me also check this thing, I'm actually curious. Okay, so we can make them heavy or light cruisers, depending on the type of battery we choose here. The heavy one, of course, gives us a heavy attack, but we don't need it, and the light one is much cheaper, so we keep it as a light cruiser. Nothing can beat convert cruiser carrier with dirt ship carrier now. Unfortunately, that's not true, man. I don't know if you tested them recently, but carriers draw the attention of the eye massively, so not worth it. Not worth it. Not only not worth it because they need a good fleet. Like, you can spam destroyers and win. You can probably spam this design, we're going to test it and win. You cannot spam that and win. You need to make that and also have a very good fleet to go with it. And that's not even that much cheaper than making a proper carrier. And the proper carrier is better in terms of value. So carriers, be careful, because with recent changes, yeah, they are scary. Okay, let's stick to the old torpedo design here. So maximize the torpedo attack and see how it goes. Now, I'm also curious to see another thing here. I want to see the comparison with the torpedo destroyer. So the torpedo destroyer has a torpedo attack of 86, which is actually awesome. And this one is only 115. And of course, the torpedo destroyer is only 1253. So you get about... almost 3 of them, almost 4 of them for each torpedo cruiser. So in terms of damage dealt, there is no comparison. The destroyer is certainly better. Of course, this one has more HP, more organization, more armor. So ideally it will survive longer, and it also has some basic light attack. So there is that too. You were the one? Oh, nice, nice. So I'm glad you're here. 4 tubes is an overkill. I'm not sure, because if you remove one, then they are exactly like the destroyer, except they are more expensive. So I'm not entirely sure about that. But if you want to remove one, you either put nothing there, which is an option, of course, to make it cheaper and faster, or we go for the catapults to get a bit more detection. Please make a German light tank, and on the development list there is an airplane logo, build one. On the development list? No, but why do you want to make light tanks, man? Why do you need to make your life harder? Don't make light tanks, please. Light tanks are bad. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Let's get the first feeling of how this performs. Then we can make adjustments. I don't necessarily disagree that the 4 torpedo slots are too many. But I'm not entirely sure it would be particularly beneficial to have extra detection. The extra detection is mostly useful when you cannot find your enemies. But here we will be engaged right away, or when you want to avoid enemy fleets. But here we are happy to engage. That's the testing purpose. So either we remove them to make it a bit cheaper or not. Is a speedy naval battle relevant in the current patch? I'm still have old man said yes. Speed is very relevant because it acts a bit like a dodge. Like the higher the speed, the high it also says there, no? It's less likely to be hit by enemy fire. So it's together with visibility, surface visibility. These 2 stats make your ship harder to hit, which is very beneficial, actually. Very beneficial. However, the speed depends on the task force, and unless you use only this design or other designs that have the same speed, they will go at the slowest speed of the task force. So that's something to consider. Okay, so I think we can make a new save. Let's just... it's a bit too late. Yeah, but it's probably fine. Okay, let's make a save now. If we want to make changes, we can make changes. Man, I will not make the light tank. Now we need to calculate how many of these light cruisers we can afford. Also, let me see the comparison in price. They are probably... No, they are cheaper than the usual light cruiser, the torpedo cruiser. So 4,041. Let's see how many we can afford. We have a budget which I set at 60,000. So 60,000 divided... what did we say it was? 41. Open my calculator. So that would be 15. I think it's like 14.8, but let's say we can make 15 of them. Also, let me see the price. Why are they one... interesting, they are one still more than the other ones. I feel like this is something they forgot to change in the beta. Like in the beta they didn't change the special project ones. So it's quite crazy that the light cruiser and even the heavy cruiser is actually cheaper in terms of resources than the torpedo cruiser. But hopefully this will be changed by the end of the beta. It's means super speed catapult patrol cruiser still great then, just for spot only. For spot only you can make a spotter cruiser, yes of course. But again, it's not something you need if you are just engaging. It's something you need to avoid engagements or if you struggle to find engagements, but that's not going to be a problem, I can guarantee you. Do you know the Cold War curtain mod? I do not know that mod. So, we need to make, if I can find it again, 14 of these ones. Sorry boys, one more thing I need to do here very quickly. So when you do the instant build, DI also builds instantly their ships, and that's not very cool. So we don't want them to get ships they wouldn't otherwise get. So I'm sorry, UK, but you cannot get this stuff. I mean, they will do it again later, but otherwise they would also get all of these ships instantly, and that would mess up my testing scenario. So I'm okay if they get this one, but not the other ones. Okay, now we can proceed. You know what? We can actually leave them on infinite. Wait. Did I make a save? I probably didn't. So the next time I don't need to do this stuff again. And now, since we are testing specifically the destroyer, let me remove the other one so I don't get confused. The cruiser, I mean. It's night, boys. Forgive me. 2, 3. Should be 14 now. Yeah, actually 15 we said. 15. And I also... Let me add it to my document here. So... 15... torpedo... cruiser. Okay. What's the state of the game with the beta updates? Is it playable? I think the Navy is messed up. Yeah, the game is very messed up in general, but yeah, not much we can do about it, unfortunately. Okay, now we need IC to get these ships right away. There we go. Now we need to remove IC. ODI also gets their ships right away. And now let's move them to train all of them. And when we are trained, we start a test. Yeah, the submarines are damaged because the paradox increased apparently by 33% the HP of the strength of submarines to make them less vulnerable. Not sure if that works, but figure it out, I guess. And by the way, in the meantime, not like this, but it's part of the test that we actually keep building them. We did this for all of the other designs too. Other than that, I think we're fine. To have install of the Navy, you need is like 500 heavy fighters which have 2 torpedo bombs. That's not true, man. That's actually not true. I tested them, but you don't destroy enemy navies. You can check the testing. I did it recently. You don't destroy enemy navies with naval bombers. You can try. The Royal Navy just doesn't go where you assign the naval bombers, which means you can use the naval bombers to naval invade the UK, because the UK will get scared and not send their navy here. But you cannot only use naval bombers to win naval warfare. Yeah, I then remember to press enter. Okay, why are these things not being repaired, by the way? Or are they being repaired? Oh no, they are being repaired, okay. Okay, these ones are testing, fine, let's go. But why are they being repaired one by one? Because there is only... Sorry. Yeah, because there is only one port there. Okay. Fine. Now let's move the submarines to where they will be when we start the actual test, which is in Brest. Hopefully they will not get intercepted. Okay. As soon as these guys are ready, we'll train them. We'll start the test. Then we're going to check the doctrines before we do that. Maybe let's do that now. So this one is okay, this one is already okay, this one doesn't matter, this one also doesn't matter. And we are already on night fighting, so that's all good. Let's also check the admiral, but if I remember correctly, it is correct. Now it's not entirely correct because he has the destroyer leader, while we could have picked the cruiser captain. So we're going to give him the cruiser captain trait. In fact, I think we're going to do that right away. Yeah. Yeah, so at least it's fair, the comparison between cruisers and destroyers. Submarines are a little bit better now in the beta. If you make a build on submarines, they work, but these submarines you will see soon, they die almost instantly. Which is still not cool. So I would say no, they didn't fix submarines. I don't know if it will get better than this though. I'm afraid it may not get better than this, so we may have to work with this. Okay, done. Everything here is ready. So let's move everything to Holland. And then we're ready to go. Let's give them... actually, I was doing it from Wilhelmshaven, sorry. Give them the organization. Okay, now we make a save for the testing start. Man, remember to Google Translate before you post, because I have no way of translating it here on the chat, so I don't know what you're writing. And And actually, before we do that, I'm going to split these guys into groups of 1, set them on convoy raiding. Now, because of the test that we are running, it's more important that they stop the Royal Navy, even if it's just for a couple of days. So we're going to send them to the English channel too. If you want to avoid losing them immediately, it's better not to do that. But they will still die very, very quickly, even in here. Now, as for the other ones, we set them... no, the other thing I wanted to check here is... right now, we're using them all together, the entire fleet together, which means the speed will be less relevant. Don't know if you can see the speed of the entire task force from here, but we can probably see it from the various designs. So it's most likely going to be... yeah, 22.8, which is the slowest design. And that's, of course, not ideal. But again, it doesn't matter because we tested all designs in the same way. All we care about is consistency with the various tests. Then we can do some slightly different experiments here. Also, I think it's better to set the Pride of the Fleet, which of course cannot be, let me check, but yeah, it cannot be a torpedo cruiser. But we can make it one of these ones, which is a bit more resilient. Then we want them to always engage, never repair, and we will set them on patrol in here. Non-naval bombers, so now the test can really start. Yeah, let's see. You usually get a couple of small engagements, then you get the big one. You can see submarines dying very quickly there in the meantime. No, that's not the big one. That's the big one. That's actually a bit too big though, because that's a huge death stack. So it's going to be a tough test for us already. This is a battle that heavy cruisers would win, for example. Looks like. Also destroyers would win this. It's not looking very good for torpedo cruisers. Yeah, it's a wipe. It's a wipe. Not too exciting so far. Let's give it another try. Doesn't look too promising. In my opinion, the best design right now is... oh my god, where are they? Well, I'll show you later because they are lost. But if you can afford them, it's probably this one. This is the design that has the most survivability against even larger death stacks. But later on we'll run some additional tests. But yeah, let's see if we can get an engagement with torpedo cruisers. Which does not involve the entire Royal Navy at once, because that would be a bit better. And there is always RNG. Okay, this one is already better, so let's see how this one goes. Yeah, okay, we win that one. You know, winning the first battle helps a lot. Now we're winning this one, we're winning this one. This one will be a bit painful, but we win it. Because after one big battle, you get a lot of experience. Let's also see the survivability. So some of them got a bit damaged, but many of them got to veteran. Then of course at this point you would need to repair them, but we are not doing that for this specific test. Okay, there is another engagement. Looking okay. I'm not sure the UK will engage again. Actually, they did, but not with much. So usually when Italy joins, that's pretty much the end. I don't think there will be more engagements here. Let's actually check if the UK has anything to engage with. Yeah, sorry. The Royal Navy, yeah, they do. They do have a good fleet here. They're not using it, but I think if they engaged us with this fleet, not sure if they would win. But maybe yes. So the rest of the Royal Navy is destroyed. I don't think they have one in the Mediterranean as well. So they are sending maybe one, but... Well, let's see if they use the last bit or not. The best ship is destroyers with torpedoes, but in the long run, cruisers are still better. That's not a bad answer, actually. I'll go back to all of the designs in a bit. As oh, nice, they engaged us again. I don't know. It doesn't feel great, like just by the look of it, compared to some other designs. But this is the beta, so torpedoes have been have been nerfed. I'm pretty sure if we run the same test in the live patch, which we can do in a bit. Okay, they actually engage us again. No, that's a wipe. Yeah, that's another wipe. Okay, let's see if we can win at least one and how many tries it gets to get a win. So then we can compare with the other ones. That's not a bad battle for us. It's probably a good win. And also, how long would it take to get the newer ones? Yeah, quite a while. It's the biggest advantage of destroyers. Okay. Oh, this is going to be painful. Yeah, not a chance. Full wipe. Okay, so this was the third try. And I stopped with 3 with the other designs. I never did more than 3. Let's do a 4th one before we draw some conclusions here. Because we could argue that in a couple of them they were unlucky. I don't know, because the Royal Navy is very aggressive, and that's another wipe. But I'm not fully convinced by the survivability against larger fleets. Like, okay, so so far it's 4 out of 4, a complete wipe. Just out of curiosity, let me show you a similar comparison, but where we used the heavy cruisers, for example. Where the fuck are they? Okay, here. So here is a test with the heavy cruisers. It's basically the same build. Of course, we have less heavy cruisers because they are more expensive. And this is the design we are using right now. By the way, we are on purpose engaging without air because I want to keep it as clean as possible. I don't want air to be involved, so we only have naval bombers in here, but they are not in any of the regions in which it matters. Because I need to see battles, I need to compare them in battles, and the more naval bombers you have, the more scared the Royal Navy is, so they just don't go in, and I need them to go in. Again, guys, this doesn't need to be optimized. All we need is for it to be consistent among various designs, because we just need to see how the various designs compare in a similar situation. So now let's see a bit with the heavy cruisers, because maybe they changed something here too, but you know, one advantage, a big advantage of heavy cruisers, which we are not using here, is that you can actually make them pride of the fleet. That's very good. Okay, here we get a similar battle to the ones before, but you can see the difference right away. And that's gonna be very painful. But again, okay, now we're going to lose this one. Yeah, we're going to lose that one, but not, I mean, in the end we won it. We are going to lose anyway, because they will engage us soon again with another giant fleet, and then we cannot survive that. There we go. Okay, that's a full wipe here. No, that's not a full wipe somehow, but it's going to be a full wipe. Well, it may be that in the beta they are making the UK stronger, so compared to how before the beta, all of the designs perform a little worse. Do keep in mind that we had until now, and even now, we still had the naval supremacy in here. For a naval invasion, this would be fine. I think we're left basically only with the heavy cruisers. Everything else is gone. But one more battle and they will be all dead. Still a bit better, no? You can see the result being a bit better with the heavy cruisers. Let's give them another try. Okay, the reason not to use all heavy guns is that we actually need light attack more than we need heavy attack. Heavy cruisers can deal damage both to smaller ships and to larger ships, and in addition to being a lot more expensive to put more heavy attack, it's not even required. Like, the thing I really like about this design is it's fairly cheap. It has decent armor, and it deals both good heavy attack and good light attack, or decent light attack at least. Exactly, light attack is key in naval warfare, and this design can basically deal with any threat thrown at it. By the way, we're using the wrong MIO here. We may want to run this test again later on using the raiding ship builders, which would help us more. Because we cannot really benefit from the extra speed, and 5 light attack is almost nothing. So yeah, that's something, when we test it again, that's something I want to do. It can be optimized slightly more. Let's first of all see if we can get another situation. Like, consider that here is where when we got the worst possible battle early on. And this time, for example, we got a much better battle early on and we completely destroyed them. This, I would expect this to be good. Yeah, that's good. This doesn't look good though. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah, it looks like the Royal Navy is overall more challenging. Probably because the submarines die instantly. The Royal Navy can come here more aggressively and take us down. So without repairing, we are in trouble, for sure. Definitely a lot more survivable than the other build, but in the end they go down if you don't repair. It definitely took them longer to get to a full wipe. In fact, they haven't achieved it yet, and we are keeping the dominance the whole time. But we did lose most of the heavy cruisers. Okay, I think it might be a good time to test the destroyers. Then we can run these tests again a couple of times, but let me check the destroyers now. Tier 2 gun system and a radio. Yes, but this on purpose is a run in which we did not want to invest particularly into that. Of course, those designs would help. And of course, those designs would help the cruisers more than they help. Actually, they are completely useless here. So adding the radio here would be more or less useless. So yeah, they would be better on the cruisers have this advantage too. That's what I wanted to say. So this is the destroyer build. Let's see the destroyer build in action. And let's see how hard the nerf hit them. Okay, we got an engagement here. Like, we used to wipe them so quickly, and now it's definitely not as quick. I need to remember to change for future tests the conscription law, because we run out of manpower. Yeah, we got another engagement here. Yeah, maybe if they don't nerf them further, there is a chance that torpedo destroyers are still the meta after the beta. They did not get into a bad engagement though. They didn't get into a 100 ships engagement. So at this point you get torpedo expert, that would also greatly help. You know, you need to realize that for this build, what you need is just a basic destroyer Torpedo 2, nothing else. Literally nothing else. You don't need radio. You don't need the fire control system because this doesn't affect the torpedoes. You don't need a special facility. You don't need anything. Just the basic destroyer. That's the insane thing about this build. Also, advantage compared to the other build. If you need to repair this build, so let's assume that we want to repair now, okay? Let's send them back. And let's check how long it takes to repair them. Well, probably a lot because I don't have the repair shit here. Like, compared to the heavier ships, they repair incredibly fast, which is a huge advantage when you need to engage again. With the other builds we were not repairing, but the reason for not repairing is also that the larger ships take forever. And so to become active again, it would take us a long time. And here I think one of them is already fully repaired. The other one is probably getting there, and the reason we are slow is mostly because of the larger ships. If we went for destroyers only, we wouldn't have that problem. In fact, I want to test something then later with the destroyers. I don't participate in multiplayer games. No, I'm not very interested in the multiplayer of HOI4. Yeah, the problem with repairing is always the same. It takes forever, so it damages overall the run, but not for destroyers. So guys, something I want to test now. Let's do a new test from the designs. Because I want to try something with destroyers. I must be honest though, about torpedo cruisers, I'm not convinced. A facility, a special project to get something that doesn't seem to outperform the regular destroyers. I'm afraid that's not worth it. It's sad, but I'm afraid that's not worth it. So now we go for the destroyers again, but I want to try the ones with anti-air, see if it helps or if it's useless. It's probably not particularly useful. Heavy ship just repaired 3 months, light cruiser 45 days. Yeah, that 3 months is insane, man. I mean, destroyers, they get destroyed, doesn't matter, they're very cheap. And if they don't get destroyed and you need to repair them, you can repair them very quickly. But what I wanted to try is to keep them out from the rest of the fleet. So let me see the speed of these ones. Speed of these ones is actually okay. The ones that we are making are 35.6. So I think what we can do is keep destroyers apart, and the rest of the fleet we can set it on strike force instead. So we take full advantage of the speed of the destroyers in the next test. Let me see if these ones are much slower. No, they're actually not much slower. They're bad, but they're not slower. And then we can see if that's better. Let me see how many we can make with this new design. So that's 1253. We can make 48. That's going to be a bit annoying because we cannot make them all at once. Okay, let me make another change before we proceed here. Yeah, this stuff is already correct, and this guy should already be correct. Yeah, this guy's already correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 1.2 thousand per destroyer, so you can have exactly 40 to 50 guys without investments. Keep in mind that this is not a navy build, Germany. Let me check. Did we even pick? Where is it? Yeah, okay, because I was going for battleships, we picked two focuses oriented towards battleships, which, by the way, I would probably not pick at this point. I would instead do maybe a couple more in here, so you can get some dockyards. But yeah, it's basically the only investment in the Navy is here. I never built any dockyards, and all the dockyards we have available right now, 31, most of them are taken from the occupied land. So literally zero investment here. Now, though, we need to figure out this thing about the destroyers, because if I need 2 days, the UK may get some ships that they shouldn't get, but that's okay. Let's do it. Also, I was building with a different MIO, so we don't have all of the MIO perks. That's another thing to consider. That would make this even better. We can get 30, and then for the other 20 we need another day. I hope they don't nerf them more, because this design is very good for minor countries. Have had surprising success with heavy torpedo cruisers for capitals and light attack light cruisers to clean screens. Guys, you need to be careful about something though. What you're describing sounds like a very expensive build. So you're having success probably because you're investing a lot in it. And that's something you cannot lose sight of. Like, this is a very cheap build. What we're trying to do here is to succeed with a very cheap build. So keep in mind the cost factor. At this price, we have 60,000 IC. You can get, let me check my document. You can get only 9 heavy cruisers. If you have like twice the amount of IC to invest, and you could get something like 18 to 20 heavy cruisers, they would completely wipe anything. The design I showed you earlier would completely wipe anything. So, of course, but it would take twice the investment. And this investment is easy for Germany, but if you're playing as a minor country, that could not be, that would not be possible, likely. Let me just check again. So 48 instead of 53. Yeah, okay. I think the anti-air is overall worth it. Now let's do the IC. Now we need to keep the IC on, but I need to make sure the UK doesn't make more, and then I also need to make the right amount. So 47 means. Sorry. Yeah. Let's do this. We need another 17, in other words. Or did I say 48 in the end? 48, sorry. 48. Let's see. The breeds. Nah, so far they're good. Now, by the way, did they make it there? Not yet. Hopefully they will. They are not even going there, though. Okay, okay. Very annoying shit, but okay. No! Wait, what the? No, 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 My bad, boys, sorry. I did it twice, because I was not focused. Okay, let me change then a couple more things before we move on, because anyways I wanted to do this. Very annoying, very sad. Yeah, I'll check the chat a bit later so I don't fuck this up. Yeah, I wanted one more, but it's fine. It is disabled. Let me see. Torpedo CA is very cheap, only 4,000 plus. I see. Yeah, but so as we checked earlier, the biggest thing about and I think this is why, by the way, these destroyers are performing better. The reason is simply that the torpedo damage is basically the same. So torpedo damage is 86 on these destroyers. And on the torpedo cruiser, which is somewhere, which I cannot find. Here. It is only 115, assuming we put this one, which I'm not even entirely convinced about, although every extra one increases the hit chance as well, which is good. So it's only slightly more, but in the end the torpedo damage that we have is certainly a lot less, considering how much more expensive they are. So I have the feeling that's the reason. And also, of course, the speed is similar. The surface visibility is 13. Let's see how much it is with this one. This one only has 9, so they're very dodgy. And by the way, that's something we are never considering in terms of the doctrines, but there are some doctrines that are good for the destroyers. Like, if you get even just the first perk here, it's another 20% torpedo attack, and it's only on destroyers. And you will eventually get it for the torpedo cruiser too, but you get it much later for the torpedo cruiser. Yeah, are they training? No. Why not? There they are. Okay. If they ever fix the mastery, which is clearly stupidly broken still, you should basically get mastery after every battle, considering how rare naval battles are. Okay, I think we're done. The missing ones are the new ones, but I cannot keep training them forever. So let's go back in position. Make sure that well, they are repaired. And they have the organization. Why not both? Because they are expensive. Not both because they are expensive. So, hear me out here. The idea, in my opinion, what the best build would be is you start with torpedo destroyers because there is no reason not to do that. And because they offer the best punch. So like you get the best value out of this. This is actually a decent fleet with a small investment that you can use to destroy the UK. Then of course later on doesn't make much sense to keep building destroyers. Like you don't want 500 destroyers. So at this point of the run, when you have a fleet of destroyers, maybe a bit more though, I would like to get to like 100 good destroyers. Then after that, you can start investing in cruisers. But why not both? Well, because you have a build that most likely rotates around one of them. Like here, you need to choose between cruiser captain and destroyer leader. And it's better to go destroyer leader initially. Then you would pick this one and you would pick this one. So you just create everything around one build. Then you can add a second one later on. Maybe you get another good admiral that you can level up in cruiser captain. Or you can just give this one cruiser captain and give them torpedo cruisers as well. Torpedo CL is twice the damage for 4 per more IC and maybe better armor. But no, it's actually not twice the damage, man. The damage is barely any better. Let me show you. Unless you have any better ideas on how to design them. But let's show them both so we can make a comparison here. So this one has 115 and this one has 86. So that's a lot less than twice the damage. And that's like a bit less than 4 times the price, but closer. And the main advantage is it has better armor, of course HP and organization as well, so they are more resilient. But yeah, armor, so they will not get pierced, maybe. And the surface visibility is better for destroyers, but not by that much. Either way, I think it's time to test them with the new setup that I wanted to try. So this time, what I'm thinking is we set these guys on strike force instead of sending them in. The biggest disadvantage is we have the pride of the fleet here, so we will not benefit from the line of battle bonus, which is a 10% extra attack. That's a bit sad, but maybe we have something else that we can use. Let's see. Well, not really, except maybe fast battleships for the extra critical hit chance. It's not great, but I guess you could use this one. I think I still like line of battle more. When the rest of the fleet joins, we should be getting it. So we still go on always engage, never repair for the test, and then we set these guys on patrol, and always engage, never repair as well for the test. Naval gunfire. Let me see. It's not here, right? Naval gunfire. Where is it? Oh no, naval gunfire is in here. Sorry. Why naval gunfire? I mean, you have some very nice things in here. The problem is, where are they? Yeah, that's the biggest issue. Yeah, they are here. Problem is you will never get here realistically. You'll never unlock this perk in any run. Maybe if you play until 1950 and try to wipe every fleet in the world, you may get to this one. Otherwise, you don't get to this one. So now, line of battle in general is the best one. Fuel consumption always useful, and 10% extra attack is awesome. Fast battleship maybe for the critical hit chance if you don't have a capital ship, but other than that, yeah, I don't see any better setup than what we have right now. This one is also useless. Maybe there is something better here. Yeah, not really, not much. Of course, there are some awesome buffs for destroyers, but once again, if I remember correctly, They're very late. Fairly late. Though this one could be changed because this is also useless. So I'd say maybe the light task forces here is a better choice. So we don't want to retreat. No, not very impactful, I would say. For this new system, you never get... Exactly. It's basically... For doctrines, especially for Navy doctrines, you must pretend that this is all you're getting. And ignore everything else. Because you never get anything else. With this build, we have a pretty decent chance of getting this one unlocked. And that's awesome. But everything else is almost completely useless. Either way, let's see what happens. I'm actually quite curious here. Still haven't encountered the Royal Navy here. There we go. There is the Royal Navy. No, we're actually not doing good. Not doing good at all. Interesting. I'm pretty sure though. Let me see. Because we didn't change anything. Except we are splitting them properly. And I guess the game doesn't like that. I guess this game wants you to use that stacks. Because the Royal Navy is using that stacks. By the way, this is one of the biggest problems they have with the Navy. They are just forcing you to use that stacks. Doesn't make any sense. Let's see if it goes better this way though. But it probably will be better. Yeah, it's definitely better. So much for good task forces. Yeah, now our torpedoes are not going there. Destroyers are not going there. Yeah, we just kick their ass very hard here. I guess the larger ships do soak some damage, and that really helps. Let's see the mastery out of curiosity, and that's absolutely stupid. You realize that we wiped more than half of the Royal Navy and we haven't even gotten one mastery perk. How dumb is that? Look at the amount of ships we destroyed. And seriously, and this is 0 mastery? What the fuck? Well, maybe what we could do here is, where is the automatic split? Yeah, we could enable this maybe. But it doesn't work probably unless we go to low priority. Okay, now it works. So after the first couple of battles, I guess you can do this. Another fun thing is that the main reason why we go fleet in Bing is to pick a naval refit yard, so at least we repair a bit faster, which is one of the most important things in the game. No, they really need to completely rethink the mastery for the Navy in general. It must, I don't know, it must depend a lot more on the damage delta or on how many ships you sink or something like that. But guys, what I'm happy to see here is that while submarines, as you can see, are basically not viable, they died immediately, the torpedo destroyers are still, at least are still good. And that's something that makes me happy. You can still get into unlucky engagements in which they get wiped. Yeah, I don't think the Royal Navy is going to engage us again. Let's check. Do they even have a Navy? I think we wiped them entirely. Oh yeah, we did. Maybe they sent something here. No, we destroyed the Royal Navy. They have some destroyers and stuff, but yeah, that's that's the only carrier they have left. It's destroyed. Let's check once again the torpedo cruisers. Wait, I don't know why I struggle so much with this name. It's not that difficult. And also, guys, I want to do a test without the beta on. So maybe before we stop, we run these 2 tests again without the beta. And so I don't know, this is the design we're using, and I cannot think about many ways to make it better, honestly. We can make it a little bit cheaper, but I don't know how we would be making it significantly better. You must consider one thing, that we say they're unlucky because they get into bigger engagements, but one of the reasons they get into bigger engagements is that they deal less damage. So they don't wipe the enemy fleets as fast as the destroyers would, and the enemy fleets have time to reinforce, like it happened here. And this is a battle that both the heavy cruisers and the destroyers would have won, for sure. Instead, we just lose it. So, no. Definitely no for this design. That's a no-no. I wonder if by changing to a heavy one, anything would change for the better. But I struggle to see why, honestly. It's the same torpedo attack. We do gain some heavy attack, but not much. The design becomes also more expensive. Because the game crashes a lot. Not so much for that in that part, so I can show you that part, but the game crashes a lot when you check the details, even outside of the beta this happens. Mostly when you check the details of the battles that are already over. But yeah, let's go over a few battles, checking the details, let's see how it goes. Is there anything you're particularly interested in here? So our torpedo cruisers are probably in here, and we can see that we have, of course, a torpedo advantage in terms of the damage. We have actually the positioning advantage, which is something you don't usually have with the destroyers. Let's see if we win this one. It looks like we are going to win that one without losing anything. The problem that these torpedoes, the cruisers suffer a lot when we... yeah, something like this. Something like this we're going to lose. Now, the other thing I don't really understand very well is... I think the paradox should increase by a lot the positioning, the buffs. Like in a battle like this, the UK should suffer some big positional penalties. And yes, surely this guy is helping a lot because it's a plus 32%. But why do they encourage the death stacking so much? That doesn't make too much sense. Oh, we're going to lose this battle. There is nothing to say here. The torpedo destroyers just don't work as well as the regular. The torpedo cruisers just don't work as well as the torpedo destroyers. Any ideas at all in the chat on how we can make the design better? And do you want to test anything else, or should we give up on the torpedo cruisers in general? If you have any ideas to make this better, I'm happy. But otherwise, I want to test a couple more things, but I don't think that torpedo cruisers are a thing. V2M, you say to build the heavy cruiser torpedo cruisers, the heavy torpedo cruisers, or something else? Or do you guys want to see the meta light cruisers? So, let me see, but I think we should have that one. Where is it? Yes. At this point, of course, we could also upgrade further, but yeah, this one, yes. This though offers the same kind of advantage to both destroyers and cruisers, so there's no particular advantage to either one of them. The radar gives buffs to torpedoes. Let's give it a look, a quick look now. I'm not entirely sure. Then I wanted to run a test with the radar anyway, but... No, but the radar only increases the detection. It doesn't increase anything else but the detection. No, but the radar in any case, once again, the radar is good, but building a naval facility for the torpedo cruisers when they perform the same as the destroyers, you need to upgrade. I need to upgrade this tech here. No, what, this one? I don't know. I never do the radar. Yeah, it's this one. But not, it doesn't upgrade torpedoes though. It improves the heavy battery hit chance and light battery hit chance. It does improve the detection, but not torpedo advantage here. So you can see the biggest advantage of going for destroyers, which is you skip basically everything else. You realize that's a big advantage, like no facility for that. And by the way, if you do want a facility, and if you do build a naval facility anyway, say, then you can use the naval facility to get other cool stuff, such as the... where the fuck is it? No, the support ships. I think I already have them, maybe. I think I already have them. Yeah, I don't know where they are, but... No, I don't have them. Wait, what? Where are the support ships? I thought I had them. What do you mean the radar works on everything? No, let me check. So we would have this one. We probably have this one too. Oh, wait. Do you mean it works on everything as in? Yeah, no. It only increases the detection, the NTA, the light, and the heavy battery. So it's useless on this design. It's good for the detection, but it's useless on everything else. What you could do is you could give this design a lot of detection if you did something like this. It would lose some torpedo attack. In fact, it would get exactly the same torpedo attack as torpedo destroyers. I scrolled past it. Are you crazy? Am I dumb here? Escort carrier. Here, independent approach. Underway request. No, not in here then, I guess. In here. In the ship's menu, okay. Where are they? Basic cruiser, Ah, yeah, here. Yeah, so we could have the ships instead. Repair and support ships instead of making the... You know, you just need a couple of dockyards on them. And then these things are actually pretty decent. Light tanks cannot be useful. Don't make light tanks. Yeah, whatever. The batteries, but on this design, it's only for this 9.4 light attack. Honestly, it also makes it more expensive. I don't think it's worth it. Ah, okay, you're talking about other stuff. Okay, no, other stuff, yeah, fine. Other stuff, totally fine. But specifically for torpedo destroyers or cruiser torpedo cruisers, the radar doesn't help. Yeah, for garrisons, I mean, you can just use any cavalry, no, this cavalry, and it's fine. But yeah, technically the light tanks are a bit better. For recon, yes, that's actually true. The recon company is not bad. But it's also not that great. Like if we switch to an armored recon here, you can see how you get slightly more soft attack. Actually, you can see it from right there. In terms of terrain buffs, it doesn't change much. It's like a bit more movement in jungles and forests, but less in plains and deserts. And then up there, you can see like basically nothing. It seems good because you see that plus 10% hard attack, but we actually don't have any hard attack, so it's kind of useless. Soft attack, breakthrough, hard attack is basically the same. So slightly better than motorized, but not by much. Unless, of course, you are using them for something else. Then you can invest in them, you can make some space marines with them, you can use them for paratroopers, the airborne recon, then they can be good. In general, though, it's not particularly worth making them. And definitely, it's never worth making them in a template. They go fast, but you don't need... No, this is wrong, because they're using the wrong tanks. They shouldn't be using these ones. They're usually like 80 kilometers per hour. You don't need to go faster than that, especially after you upgrade to mechanized. Heavy gun and not armor. It can do everything and more safety and more speed as main ship. Okay, so man, your suggestion here. Let's go back to that because that's what this live is about. So let's not get distracted too much. So what you would suggest testing is something... Let me get it right before we move on. So what you would recommend is going heavy battery. Tell me if I'm wrong, right? Heavy bat and then no armor. Why no? Yeah, no armor makes it cheaper. Okay, let's give up on the armor. Anything else you would change? Again, and not armor. It can do everything and more safety, more speed as main ship. So, we happy like this or any further change? So you would remove the anti-air as well? With the anti-air we can save some production cost. And technically, I know the fire control 0 is the lowest we can put. But I do think keeping some light attack is worth it, probably. Maybe not. Maybe not. We can make it a lot cheaper without this. Can we save it? Save it? Yes. Something like this, huh? Any other changes? It is significantly cheaper. And I like the name. It's going to be Cat. Of course, it would be even cheaper if we went for the light cruiser battery. Then it would only be 3,000 in production cost. As you said, though, it would be... No, it would also be faster. It would be a bit less safe because it would be a screen. While in this way, it is a capital ship. And it can also benefit from Pride of the Fleet, like this. Guys, fast. Let me know if you want any more changes or you would be happy with this design. Then we're going to test it. Anyone also, if you have any suggestions, they're welcome. Yeah, I'll start making this one. If you get any other ideas on how to make it better, let me know. Otherwise, we stick to this one for now. Good to see you guys. I don't know, that the idea I guess was to make it cheaper. I'm not entirely... They're good now, but I will wanting a Torpedo 3, Engine 3 and Torpedo 3. Okay, but that wouldn't be fair to the other comparison. We compared everything at tier 2, so yeah. Of course, tier 3, yes, but then it would apply the same way to Torpedo Destroyer. So for now, we test both with Torpedo 2. I don't know about the armor, guys. The armor is a bit weird. Sometimes it looks like it's useful, sometimes it looks like it's completely useless. So let's see if making them cheaper helps. First of all, let's see how many we can make. So 34, 54. Right, 34.54. So that's 17.3. Listen, I'll go on and give us 18 of them. I'll be generous. Okay, let's see. So that's actually 3 more than the light ones we had earlier. Ah, the light. You want the light attack? You want the light attack just a secondary though, because you said you want it to be a. Okay, then I need to change though the cost calculation again. So 37.36. Okay, let's go 37.36 then. So that would be 16, exactly 16. So 1 more than the light version that we did earlier. Should be right because one is going to convoys. Then of course there is the couple more things to consider. They now have a maximum of 5 dockyards per ship, so they will be much slower to be produced. Upcoming ones. That's not irrelevant. And then we also need to hope that they fix this stupid thing about the resource cost in the beta, because that's incredibly dumb. So we understood that death stacks are the way, so we're going for the death stack. And I think we're good. No, I'm curious too, man. The other ones didn't work, so I'm actually very curious to see. They are a bit safer. They stay in the back line. We have slightly more. The problem is I feel like we don't have enough torpedo attack to make the most out of it. And now without the armor, we don't even have the armor advantage. We only have a bit more health. But if this doesn't work, I really don't know how to make torpedo cruisers work compared to destroyers. And I think we just stick to destroyers. Which I would be happy to do, though, to be honest, because I don't want to build a facility just to make torpedo destroyers, torpedo cruisers. I cannot even, since I cannot pronounce them, I want them out of the way. The name is the only thing I like. Okay, so we got our cat, except for this one. Oh, well, we'll get this one too. Now. Get them in position. Let's also give them the pride of the fleet. And we are good. We can, no, let's start with this first. Okay. Let's go. Okay, first battle. So of course they are in here, so indeed they are a bit safer, though we don't have enough screens, so we don't have a very good screening efficiency. That's something to consider. It went alright, but it wasn't the big fleet, and I feel like we took some damage, so let's see this one. No. Okay, we got away with another one, but how many can we win? We need to win a couple more to be fine. A couple more. Let's also see the damage. The damage is not terrible. Not great, not terrible. Wait, how many? This was actually pretty good. This was also pretty good, but they have at least one more like this. So now is when we were repairing with the destroyers, but it was easier. I think we got the newer ones in, so that's a good thing. I will say it looks more promising than it did before. The Spirit, though, we are forced to use this one. It's too good not to use. This one is quite amazing. The Doctrine, Armored Raiders. Where is Armored Raiders? Hopefully not here. Okay, no. Where is it? Here? Where the fuck is Armored Raiders? Ah, here. But screening bonus when using only capital ships, though. But then we need to give up. We need to give up on the actual screens. So I'm not sure it's worth it because you gain more, but you need to give up on the screens. And by the way, again we unlocked Torpedo Expert, which would... Oh, we didn't have a Cruiser Captain here, though. We need to remember to get Cruiser Captain the next time, because that does matter. Although, one thing to consider is Destroyer Leader is much better, because naval damage 10%, torpedo hit chance 10%, and visibility minus 10%, it's absolutely amazing. While here, yes, naval speed and naval damage are both good, but naval speed we cannot fully use, and we don't get the visibility reduction. So destroyer leader is better than cruiser captain. That's another thing to keep in mind. Though it looks like we won this one. I don't know if the UK will engage us again. Let's see. They could, because they have a fleet right here doing nothing. Let's force it, if we can. Then we run another test anyway, but yeah, but they don't engage us. Idiot. Sent it back. What did they do with it? They have 2 more fleets, actually. They would definitely destroy us if only they came out of the harbor. Yeah, but they change it instantly, so they actually don't do that. Okay, let's just run another test. I assume naval damage from cruiser leader improves cruiser torpedo attack. Yeah, it should increase all of the damage types, including that, but yeah. So we need to give him at least a cruiser captain, because we wouldn't have picked torpedo leader. Can you share this save so we can test? It would be a members only feature, that one. Maybe I can make an exception for this one though, because the testing would be useful to everyone, including me. So yeah, I think I can arrange that. Maybe I can put them in a special Google Drive folder and share them under the video or the live stream, or on Discord. That's probably easier. Okay, so anyway. I mean, other than that, it's not particularly difficult. It's just any run with Germany. Let's see if we can get something in here. Then we can also test the other doctrine, as you said, and see what changes. Okay, here we get a very good... How come they are already dead? What's happening there? Ah, but it's the death stack. Let's see. That's actually a good win. That's actually a good win. That's actually a very good win. That's actually an insanely good win. Yeah, we lost 10 destroyers, but this is awesome. This was very good. Yeah, you know what? The funniest thing here is they keep making the AI more aggressive, and the result is when you play as a minor country and you try an invasion of the UK, you see 150 ships wiping your 10 ships. But when you actually have a decent fleet, and that's why people get frustrated. When you're building a fleet, you have a navy build, the UK is pushing out and they don't engage you, so it gets incredibly frustrating. Either way, this was an awesome win, like fantastic win. Probably the best we had so far. But it was a bit advantageous for us because it happened away and they didn't have the best starting organization. So we may have gotten a bit lucky with this one. This is with torpedo heavy cruisers, a build suggested by... I will call you V2M because I don't know how to read the rest, man. And we need to test it a bit more, but it's showing some promise, this build. And I'm assuming the reason it's working better, you may be right, is that, well, first of all, it's cheaper, so we can get more of them out. We have a little bit of light attack, we have more heavy attack, which seems to be better, even though it's not much. But especially, I guess, because it's cheap, and we don't have armor, but we are in the backline, so we take a little bit less damage. We will eventually run out of screens. But yeah, we are taking casualties to the screens more than to the heavy cruisers, and I guess that's what's helping. And by the way, what you can certainly do both of is some of these and some torpedo destroyers. So far I'm still more for torpedo destroyers though, because there must be still a reason to decide not to just build torpedo destroyers. Like, what makes you choose to make a build, to go for a build that requires a facility, a special project, and is more expensive? Like, what's the point? What's the primary point for doing that? Where is my torpedo destroyer for the comparison? Can never find shit in here. Ah, did it. So again, cool, but why wouldn't you just make this one? Now let's test it a few more times, but... Yeah, I think the UK is done, is already done engaging us. They do have a fleet, but they don't use it. Oh, they do, they do. There they are. That's another very good win. Whatever, if you make this build, I would try to at least make some roach destroyers to go with it. So you keep some screening efficiency, because right now we're basically completely out of screens. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So you start with torpedo destroyers, then you switch to some, then you build a facility and you switch to some of these ones. If you're playing a major, if you're playing a minor, I would say you just stick to... But did we have another big battle and I missed it? I think we did. I think this was the other big battle that I... Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I have been talking about. I'm not lying. The game crashes so often when you check battle results, like it's insane. The irony of that, they make a beta about the Navy and the game crashes when you check the Navy. How fun is that? You want the bear, you're getting the bear. I recorded the bear today. Let me show you the bear. No, it's not here. Wait. This is not the right bear. This is the right bear. Yeah, the eye doesn't want me to win. Here is your bear, man. Here is your bear. But let's go back to what we're doing. Let's start it again. See if we can get a less favorable engagement, because so far we got mostly favorable engagements. The first one is the most important one, you know, if you get a bad one early. Yeah, no, it's still a good one for us, this one. Yeah, it's pretty satisfying. It's pretty good. Looks pretty good, honestly. Oh, okay, that's a bad one. That's a bad one. If we can win this one... So yeah, the screening efficiency is certainly not good, and we would have more destroyers. But, by the way, we are cheating a little bit, because I'm assuming that I can invest 60,000 IC in these heavy torpedo cruisers. But that's actually not true, because you wouldn't get them right away. So the 60,000 IC would have to be split between destroyers and these cruisers. That's it. It may even be better, because we may have a higher screening efficiency. Let's see if we can win this battle. And it looks like we can. Ooh. That was a very good one. That was a very good one, I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Thank you, man. I'm glad I decided to test this. I was about to give up on the torpedo cruisers, and this saves them definitely. And I think we're done with the engagements. I mean, we may get one more, maybe. What do you say, guys? Do you want to try the mix build? We assume that we split, say, 20,000 IC on destroyers and 40,000 on the cruisers, and see how it goes. Assuming we don't have the facility right away. That's another big win. And the torpedo cruisers are all doing fairly well. And the Royal Navy is completely wiped now. They have one here, but it's in here, so... Yeah, that was very good. One more. Then we maybe test the mix build, see how it goes. I know they've changed the sub visibility values. How are they in the latest update? You can see it here because this is the latest update. You can see how long these ones last. Look, I'll do this. I'll remove the channel just so you see them in the oceans only. Okay, let's see how they perform. I will keep an eye on these cruisers because I'm interested in that. But if you're interested in submarines, just check them out from here and see how it goes. Okay, we got the first big engagement. Okay, this is a worse one than usual. Let's see. It's actually very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Okay, very good. Very good. Oh, that's bad. We may lose this one. Let's see. If they win this one, it's awesome, but I think they will lose this one. It counts as a win, but it's an extremely painful one. So now one more engagement and I think we're going to lose. And you can see, by the way, the submarines are completely gone. And they were only in the oceans. It's good because they are cheaper, so we are reinforcing fairly quickly. The instantly build ships, yes, IC. So you press IC. But you need to be careful because the IE also instantly builds their ships. So when you want to do IC, if you're testing against the UK, I suggest you tag the UK first. Then you cancel their ship production, you remove them from here. And then you do the IC on you, because otherwise they also get more ships than they would normally have by that time. So for the testing, that's a bit annoying. So let's see, because this is the worst scenario we had so far. We almost lost a battle, and it looks like we are still able to hold on. I don't know if they engage us again, we die. But okay, let's check one more thing that I'm curious about. Let's see how long it would take to repair these ships. Ah, we got engaged. Okay, now we can repair. So repairing is certainly not fast. We would be stuck in here for quite a while. Which, I mean, it's okay, I guess. Okay, a couple more things that I want to test. First, I forgot, but there was something I wanted to test at the beginning. What was it? What did I want to test? I know I want to test the mix build, but before that I wanted to test something else and I forgot what it was. Fuck. I don't know. Just run another test, I guess. Okay, this could be potentially a very bad engagement if they reinforce in time. And they didn't reinforce in time. It's another risky one. Yeah, overall it looks pretty reliable overall though, this build. Looks pretty reliable, to be honest. Get out from... Ah, no, wait, there was something. Was it... No, not this. What was it? Only them... Ah, no, now I remember. Now I remember. Yes. Yes, I wanted to test the doctrine. The doctrine. So this one here. No, where is it? Where is it? Which one is it? The one that is only... Wait. So, yeah, this one. Armored Raiders. Though it's very, very sad to give up on line on battle because that's a 10% attack, which is awesome. So I'm not convinced, but let's give it a try. So now we need to use only capital ships though. So we cannot use these ones, otherwise we don't get the bonus. Or can they be in two separate task forces? Then it works. Let's see. We could have checked probably the screening effectiveness there. Do we? No, I don't understand why we're getting the... because we're on the other side. Yeah, it was like, oh, our screening efficiency went up so well. Yeah, that's because we are these guys. No, but this way we don't get the extra one, huh? It's still going very well, but we don't get the extra one. But I don't think it's worth it in any case. I think we'll take the 10% extra attack and be happy with that. Okay, like in this case, the other ones are gone, so I guess the next engagement we'll find out for sure. Yeah, you only get the 20% one though for armored raiders. You don't get that much more, so yeah, I don't think it's worth it. And now they don't have much screening, so they'll probably die. No, because they're actually amazing, but they will eventually die. Yeah, so it ended up being a wipe. Okay, let's do the mix test. Let's do the mix test. So this might be a little tricky to prepare, but it's interesting. Guys, let's hope that Paradox doesn't watch these, and let's hope they don't nerf them more. Please don't nerf them more. It's good. It's a good build. If they fix submarines, if they make submarines a little bit better, then we would basically be there now with the Navy. Also, something I wanted to do is this. I wanted to do it from before. Armored Raiders are at plus 10%. We have plus 10% at the start, but yeah, we need to invest in focuses to have good screen. Yeah, so that's, yeah, no. That's a no-no. Now. So we're going to make a mix, also though, I'm not convinced by these anti-air. I don't think we need the anti-air. I think we need to keep them as cheap as possible. We already understood that cheap is the key here, so... Yeah, so we go back to this design here. And then, of course, did I even save it? Yeah, I think I saved it. I know I did. Yeah, no, I didn't save my cat. I was not convinced that I didn't save it. That's a bit sad. Do we need the fire control system? Yes. Should be correct, I think. Let's make our cat. The number, but also because it was just actually a couple more than we had before. I think what was the key here is, yeah, a bit that, but mostly the fact that they were heavy cruisers and so they were taking less damage probably. That's all I can think about. They had more HP and they were taking less damage because we only had 2 more. Cannot be that much of a difference. By the way, there would also be the case in which we try, because if we just care about numbers, then if we go for the light cruiser battery, we can definitely make more. But they gain only a little bit of speed and they lose HP and they lose all of the heavy attack. And I have the feeling that the heavy attack somehow was useful actually. It's just a feeling, but I have that feeling. Now, I would like the other ones to stay here though. Though if we make the light one, we should, in future, we shouldn't make it that expensive, so we should also make it cheaper. Now, I'm not entirely sure about the armor though. Was it worth it? Yes, it's probably worth not giving it the armor. Although now the armor doesn't cost any steel, so it's a bit sad not to put it. I would leave probably the armor as optional, but... Can you test the difference between fire control 1 and 3? See how much the accuracy actually makes. The thing is, fire control is completely useless here because it only increases the light battery and heavy battery hit chance. So I would only recommend going for fire control, higher fire control, if you go for a light attack and heavy attack build. So, where is it? Yeah, so on a design like this, for example, you would want the best possible fire control because you have both light attack and heavy attack. So this one, yes, definitely go for fire control. Whenever you go for torpedoes, one of the reasons why torpedoes are so good is you just don't care. And by the way, torpedoes don't care about armor either. They completely ignore everything. I agree. It's probably the heavy attack was very good. Okay, guys, let's do the... Let me save and let's do the final test here. Because one thing that is important and we did not consider is, of course, we wouldn't have the ability to make the cat right away. We would first need to unlock the facility and the special project. So that's an investment and it takes time. So let's try to account for that. So we start with the torpedo destroyers, and unless we do the entire run, there is unfortunately no way of knowing exactly how many. But I'm going to assume 20. I'm going to do 2060. Okay. So. 1127. So that's 17.7. Actually, let me do something. Okay, let's say we make 20. So we use 22,540. And the rest, so that would be $37,460. Divided by cat 3736. And that's 10. And that's 10. We are testing cat plus DDT, exactly. So 20 DDT plus 10 cat. Plus all of the cat that we would make after the first, the initial ones. And luckily that's exactly the amount of dockyards we have, so that's very good. Okay, now 10 cut. Goddamn, has this unlocked because I'm a tier 3 member now? No, this is actually free for everyone. This is not a members only, but thank you so much for becoming a tier 3 member. It really makes the difference. You'll have to end the stream with a final test, putting the same amount of IC into naval bombers and showing the Navy is pointless. Unfortunately, I did that already. I tested the naval bombers over the past few days and we proved that naval bombers are actually not a replacement for the Navy. I will show you though later. I will show you later. So just be patient for a second. So let me first of all get this done. 30, yeah, 30 is correct. So IC off. Now, for the rest, we also need to think about this a little bit. Now, what I would say is probably we keep one on destroyers too. We definitely need to keep something on destroyers. Let's see. Okay, we're already at the cut. Wow, we could keep 5 on destroyer. I don't know. How long does it take? Shit. What do you guys think? So we have a total of 30. It would be 20 on destroy, 20 on cut and the rest on destroyers. I think it's fair because we need to replenish the front line as it gets destroyed. So I think something like this would probably be right. Well, we actually gave up on this idea of splitting properly the fleets. Okay. One thing that we need to consider is I cannot at this point also give him cruiser captain. So he would probably start with destroyer leader and then later in the run we would give him cruiser captain if we can. Although torpedo expert is also extremely good. It's probably better. In fact, I would probably prioritize torpedo expert. Good. We should be good except probably for the last torpedoes that joined just now. So that's fine. Make sure they get that. Let's also make one of these our pride of the fleet. I know Psy. I know, I love the Navy so much. That's my favorite part of it. The funny thing is I do all of these tests, then I never use the Navy in my runs because I fucking hate it. I like testing the Navy more than actually using the Navy. I think we're happy. I think we're happy. Submarines are still useless, by the way. Like, I mean, yes, these are the basic submarines, but basic submarines in 1940 in the ocean should be impossible to kill. And they are not. So. No. Okay. Is this going to be the ultimate fleet? Now, you must know, guys, that whenever I tested more balanced fleets, like a mix of two, it was always worse than just stacking up one design, one single design. So let's see how it goes. But for some reason I have the feeling that it will be worse than both only destroyers or only cat. The thing is, only cat is not something we can actually do. But let's see. One thing that I'm curious to see if is the screening efficiency once we get into an engagement. Okay, here. So screening efficiency is not at 100%, but at least it's better than it was before. So it's not terrible, I guess. And the battle here went quite well. And we're already reinforcing a bit. There is another one right away. Seems good. Another one right away. Seems good. Oh, these are big battles that we won. Look at these. 2 carriers, 2 carriers, 2 carriers. That's 6 carriers gone. Just like that. And I think the UK starts with 8 carriers, so you realize how painful that was for them. We may have found a new very good meta build for the beta unless they ruin it again. I'm sure Paradox will ruin it. Come on, how can Paradox not ruin the game? That's all they have been doing. So it's a win. It's certainly a win. Now, we didn't get an engagement against the full big death stack. We got 3 separate engagements. So that certainly helps. Let's give it another go. Yeah, I know, right? Submarines completely ruined. And even in the beta, even though they made them a bit better, like, no. Oh, that's an interesting early fight. That's very good for us. Oh, okay. Now this could be interesting. Let's see. Interesting in kicking their fucking ass, man. Nice. 4 carriers lost. Destroyed. Idiots. It's another big one. This is painful. This is painful, but that's probably all they had. That's it. That's the end. That's the end of the Royal Navy, I'm pretty sure. Let's check. No, they have one more. It's basically destroyed, though. It's basically destroyers, too. They have a bit of a navy in here. And then they are completely screwed. Torpedoes never... Yeah, that's what I expect. Torpedoes don't work. Torpedoes explode. No, 50% chance of torpedoes exploding when you trigger them. So, you just destroy your own ship. The funniest thing in all of this is they forgot, they changed, you know, they changed the cost for armor and designs and so on, right? And so now the cruisers only have a resource cost of 2, which is awesome. Except they forgot to do it for special projects. So special projects cruisers actually cost 1 more steel per factory, even though it's a cruiser. And it's even funnier, now we don't have them here, but it's very funny for submarines, because you go through the immense trouble of making, what the fuck is it? Of making the nuclear submarine, no? At some point. So insane trouble of making the nuclear submarine, and it turns out to be a lot more expensive than the normal submarine. Because they forgot to change that thing. How dumb is that? Another engagement? Wow. Unexpected. And now they literally have nothing left. Like, that was the last beat of the Royal Navy for sure. No! They keep engaging. What happened to the Royal Navy? Oh, we lose. No, we don't. Incredibly aggressive Royal Navy here. Look at that. In all of these, though, I have the feeling that we almost didn't lose any of our cats. Let's see. No, actually, we can probably see it from here. Let's see what we lost in the current year. The submarines, we lost only 2 cruisers. Was it cats that we lost? I don't think so. This is a cat. cannot see anything, but it looks like it was a cat. So we lost the cat. And then we probably lost quite a bit of destroyers, but hopefully mostly the basic ones. Oh, difficult to tell anything from here. Then we lost some convoys. Yeah, either way, it's good. And now our fleet is almost completely destroyed, but by this time we would have definitely invaded the UK. Should we do it just for fun?
Los, ausrücken!
You don't usually go from here though. I mean, as Germany, there is absolutely no point in going from here. Why are these guys going back though? Well, the UK had like 1 billion years to prepare. They will be ready for us, right? The Royal Navy still was there to fuck us up. No, I don't want to send another army north though, sadly. So this has to work. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Fine. Did they engage us? Did they engage the fleet again, by the way? No, they didn't. But the one that I set on naval invasion support decided to repair because, you know, why not? Now, you were asking about naval bombers, so let me show you the naval bombers. I tested all of the naval bombers designs, all of the best possible designs, but I cannot find them, of course. Here they are. So the one that is probably the most interesting is this one. Because in this one, same testing scenario basically, and what we're testing is, yeah, they're not trained, but we are testing the heavy naval bombers, these ones, which are usually considered the best naval bomber in the game. Then I also tested the regular naval bomber, this one, and I also tested the large naval bomber, this one, or the basic maritime patrol plane. Now, the problem here is very simple to show, and it is... yeah, we absolutely dominate the seas. So much, in fact, that you can get naval dominance with literally 3 destroyers. Let's see. This is genuinely quite fun to see. 3 destroyers get naval dominance. So that's how naval bombers can kind of replace a navy. You don't need a navy anymore because you can get dominance without a navy, basically. You still need the larger part of the navy on strike force, but they can be on never engage, so they actually safely stay in the port, and then you just use a couple of destroyers for this. The thing is, so naval bombers are absolutely awesome at this. What they're not awesome at is destroying enemy fleets. Like if you go here and check the current year, or maybe the last month, yeah, we don't destroy the enemy fleet. We just destroy the submarines because submarines are shit, and yeah, a couple of cruisers, a couple of light hulls, but that's about it. And port strikes, if you set them on port strikes, they will get completely wiped by the static anti-air, so that's not an option. That's against the UK. If they don't have static anti-air and you do a build for that, which I think we were doing here, so base strike and carrier battle groups, you get insane port strikes buffs. Like say against Japan, I don't think Japan has any static anti-air. Yeah, Japan doesn't have static anti-air. So wherever you don't have static anti-air, you can just sink entire fleets by using naval bombers. And I can show you maybe with the maritime patrol ones. Given that you want to steal the navy, is being bad at actually sinking ships really bad? Exact. No, it's not. No, absolutely. In fact, this is what I would do now. Like, this is my new meta. My new meta in terms of invading the UK is you go strictly from the channel. You don't build a navy, because fuck the stupid navy. You just use empty ships in here, ideally. Empty large ships. And you want something like 20 destroyers, just for safety. And then you simply use naval bombers in the channel. Funny thing, by the way, you don't need the fighters. If you remove the fighters and you just assign naval bombers... Well, I will show you very quickly. You do need to set some of them on patrol though, for that to work. But yeah, the UK doesn't counter them. They don't send any planes in here, so you get full air supremacy. The UK gets scared, so they don't send a fleet. Then you go on patrol, and they may engage you a couple of times. So that's why we go with smaller groups here. So they engage us, they wipe us, it's fine. I mean, you can go with a bit... If you have more destroyers, you can go with slightly bigger groups too. And if they engage you, you can try to disengage. They would probably die though. So that's why you need a few backup destroyers for this to work. Let's make sure that we... yeah, it's fine, it's fine. This works a bit better with the regular naval bombers, not with the large maritime one, because you don't need a lot of naval bombing. You just need enough. Don't know why right now we're not getting it though. It is also a bit buggy, which is no surprise, I'm sure. What the? Ah, oops. Well, let's see. Certainly if you can get air, it's easier. Let's try to risk it a bit. With the large ones, it's actually not working. But let me show you with the regular ones. It's not as consistent as when you have full air superiority for some reason, but despite being 100%. Yes, for strategic bombing you need to make strategic bombers though, and it's painful, and for that you also need air superiority for sure. Otherwise, yeah, otherwise it doesn't work. So no, yeah, we don't want the fighters though. Now let's see. Bye. They didn't live long. We're being a bit unlucky with this strategy this time. Okay. It's just about the Royal Navy not being in the channel anymore. You can see it happening. There we go. Done. Done. Mind, once again, without air. Only naval bombers. No fighters. So this is without air, they don't counter it. We are naval invading the UK without air and basically without a fleet and without using submarines. Done. So if you also have to strategic bombing the UK, it's really a pain. Like, not worth it. GG. GG. Now, what I wanted to show you though was not these. Before we stop, I wanted to show you the large naval bombers on port strike. So large naval bombers have the advantage of having this range. Not going to lie, this is fun. This is fun. The problem is the Royal Navy can only be bombed in 2 places, here and here. Everything else has no. We're already on port strike, yeah. So everything else has static end here, and that's painful. This one shouldn't have static end here, right? Yeah, it's fine. And of course, the Royal Navy is not entirely dumb. I know you would be surprised by that, but they actually moved their Navy away from here. And the Navy does fight back a little bit. So I feel like probably right now they don't have the Navy there anymore. Can assign them up here. Man, the stability of this game is just awesome. It's fantastic. How did Paradox manage to make a game that is so stable? Especially when 1 year ago, I never experienced a crush. The optimization. The optimization of nerfing subs does wonders. This is particularly fun when it happens during, I don't know, an Iron Man run where you're doing something very tricky and difficult. So yeah, if we assign them up here, you can see they die very quickly. The reason they die very quickly is that actually we are destroying their navy in here. Or at least we are attempting to. By the time our naval bombers are entirely destroyed, I will show you that we actually caused some damage to their navy, but yeah, but we also took some damage, as you can see here. And it would be a bit better if they were not rookies. Yeah, okay, let me show you now what happened to the Royal Navy. Unfortunately, not much. As you can see, the Royal Navy, well, a big chunk of the Royal Navy is in here, and yeah, they did take damage. Like, that's undeniable. All of the fleet is damaged. Just not damaged enough, considering that we also lost... I mean, not terrible, but not enough, considering we lost the entire investment in heavy naval bombers. And it wasn't a small investment because these naval bombers are... Yeah, that's not me. The large ones are actually quite expensive. 3 aluminum, 2 rubber, and especially 99 IC per plane. So this is expensive as hell. And this is with a build that is entirely about port strikes from here and here. Don't know if we also had something in here. No, but yeah. So even a full naval bomber build with a big investment in naval bombers doesn't really replace a navy. Like it's actually, yeah, you can see the full stats here. It's actually cheaper to build a navy like the one we showed earlier and do it with the navy. Or the cheapest option is, again, what I was showing. Use the naval bombers, but don't use them to try and destroy enemy fleets. Just use them to scare away enemy fleets and then naval invade while they are scared. Because guys, literally, like if you go with the regular naval bombers, just nothing fancy. Where is it? Okay, so regular naval bombers, but actually with air. Now you can actually leave them for a few days. And then this time, let's do what we would normally do at this point of the run. So what I showed you a second ago was the super safe option. But you don't need to do the super safe option. You can do something like this. Yeah, let's also rate this one. Keep the Royal Navy busy, and now let's set these guys actually on patrol in here. And look at how quickly you get the dominance. I mean, it's literally 2 days. In 2 days, you get the dominance. It's absolutely insane. Without a fleet. So whenever you have air, just go for a naval invasion. You don't need a fleet. I cannot imagine anyone having a smaller fleet than this in the game. Maybe a minor country, if you literally don't invade anyone, would have a smaller fleet. Now, the big problem is having this kind of air superiority, of course, because 2,000 fighters and 1,100 naval bombers, that's no joke. That's not something every country can afford. Okay, before we stop, last test with our DDT plus cat for fun. Ah, no, 2 more tests, then we stop. First, the same one as we did before. Let's do it without submarines at all. Let's see if we trigger a bigger engagement from the Royal Navy. Let's try to make it as challenging as possible. But I'm pretty sure this would be, if they don't fuck up anything, could be the new Navy meta. And then later on, if you have already a powerful fleet, you can actually upgrade. I feel like later on we could upgrade the cat to actually have a bit better stats. So we can actually give them the anti-air if we want. We can give them the armor. Especially the armor, I feel like in general would be a good investment. But early on is definitely all about firepower. So now the Royal Navy doesn't engage at all. That's very interesting. What is the Royal Navy doing? What fun things are they doing? Don't actually have planes here. Then people get mad. Then people get mad at Paradox, and Paradox... Okay, that's the big dead stuck. Let's see. Interesting fight. Wow, this is like the biggest battle we have seen in a while. And it's definitely good that we did it. This is because we didn't use submarines. This is insane. Boys. Okay, look at this. This is insane. I cannot click it, of course, because it crashes the game. But look at this. There is the Royal Navy. I present you the Royal Navy. Either way, all considered, yeah, that's another one. All considered replaceability, that's a word for the Navy, is the highest priority. So having cheap designs that you can spam and produce quickly, it's the best. You can always get a bad engagement and be destroyed. And reinforcing the Navy is very important. And here we can do it. And we can do it very well. Like, absolutely insane. So just in case somebody joined late, it's probably worth showing the designs. So we're assuming, then I will close the game and do the test. The same exact test I want to show you in the live patch, because this is with the latest beta patch. And by the way, in the live patch, this will be a lot better. I mean, we will be a lot more powerful than this, because torpedoes are more powerful in the live patch. Either way, we're assuming that you want to make torpedo cruisers, which we found are very good if you make the heavy ones. But we cannot make them right away. So we invested the first IC into just some basic destroyers, torpedo destroyers. So that's the basics. And then later on, as soon as possible, you would start making these torpedo heavy cruisers. And the combination of the two apparently works very, very well, especially if combined with, well, fleeting being line of battle for the 10% extra attack with pride of the fleet, but especially torpedo primacy. This is insane, by the way. We destroyed the Royal Navy. We didn't get even one perk. Nighttime attack 25%. And in here we also got night fighting for visibility minus 5%. Nighttime attack another 10%. That's absolutely awesome. And then again, we also have, which is important, fleet operation. This is actually cool. Torpedo screen penetration plus 5%. And this one doesn't really matter. It's probably the most useless one that we have. And we're also not getting any mastery. So. Yeah, so that's it. And this is the result. So we can be very, very happy. And, oh, another engagement. I didn't expect them to have, to still have a fleet. Luckily, we don't care. Like, literally, what do they have left at this point? Yeah, have some submarines. Some submarines. Some submarines. They have one light cruiser and one destroyer. Some destroyers here, some destroyers, some destroy. Yeah, that's a full wipe. But this is what is left of their main fleet, I think. Yeah, they have a couple of capital ships left in here. And that's it. Wipe the Royal Navy completely. How fun. Cool. Very cool. Now let's give it a go in the live patch. See how much more powerful it is, and then let's hope they don't fuck it up, boys. Let's hope they don't fuck it up. Will they fuck it up? I'll trigger a poll soon. Let me change to the live patch before I do that. Actually, while I download the thing, where is it? Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Will Paradox fuck this up again? Yes. No. Pizza. Can I vote? The poll is in a different place. Ah, okay, it's here. But nobody voted. Vote, motherfuckers. Okay. So same exact test, but live patch, not beta. So the funny thing is submarines will disappear faster than ever, probably in 3 days. They will be gone. But so will the Royal Navy if they engage us. Look at the submarines. At least you can see that they did something in the beta. So like a little bit, but they did something. Okay, here is a big engagement. Completely disintegrated. Oh, nice. That's a big one. Oh, wait! We're losing! We lost this! Actually, maybe better in the beta than it is in the live patch for some crazy reason. Maybe because the DI also gets a higher hit chance. So maybe the cruisers are better in the beta than they are in the live patch for some reason. Ah, the subs don't exist. The subs is like not having them. They absolutely. This is the most painful win because we won it. The most painful we had so far in all tests. Yeah, I'm assuming it's because the naval damage is overall higher, so you take also higher casualties. In the beta, they reduce the hit chance, so that damages the torpedoes the most, of course. But it doesn't just damage torpedoes; it also decreases the damage overall. I guess that's the end. That's the only one battle we get. Let's try again. There we go. It's also because the submarines die very quickly, so they have time. No, but it's actually going worse than in the beta. Interesting. Very interesting, this thing. Yeah, we lose. Very interesting. Let me see with destroyers only. No, but all together. So maybe in the live patch, destroyers only is better because we have more damage. What is happening? Why? What? What the fuck? Why is the beta better than the live patch? It doesn't make any sense. This game doesn't make any sense. What the hell? So, did I change? Did I do some? No, it's correct. Let me make sure this is the live patch, but yeah, it is the live patch because this stuff is more expensive. So this is the live patch. In the beta they made this stuff cheaper. I don't understand though, it doesn't make much sense. Maybe reloading a save from the beta in the live patch causes issues. I literally don't know. Or maybe it's just because the submarines die so quickly that we always get the death stuck. I think maybe that's the most likely. That's the most likely thing. Yeah, it's probably that because you see how big the fleet is, and it's because submarines are already gone. Yeah, okay, that's most likely it. So let me test this one again, actually. Submarines are important in this test because they slow down the Royal Navy a bit, and if they don't, the Royal Navy just comes in with the entire fleet right away. Yeah, it's almost always the dead stuck. Either way, the build that we discovered, the mix of torpedo destroyers and torpedo cruisers is a bit better, but we lose. In the live patch, now we lose. I'm not entirely sure why, but now we lose. So hopefully the beta will save us at this point. Don't know what else to say, boys. I don't know what else to say. It has to be something to do with the submarines or the fact that we take extra damage, but yeah, but we're always fighting like 150 ships, so it must be that. Okay, I think I'm not happy with the live patch at this point. So it's easier than we think to fuck it up. They just need not to implement the beta and keep the submarines ruined, and then everything is fucked. Sorry, I didn't see the message, but the answer is easy. Very easy. Let me just tell you something. Today I recorded my Poland guide and it went perfectly. It was the best test run that I had. Like, among all test runs of my guide, today was the best. I disintegrated the Soviet Union. Everything was going amazingly. And then right when I had to trigger the bear, for which you need to have some divisions in Italy, the run got bugged and the bear didn't trigger. No matter what I did, nothing helped. The bear didn't trigger. So I had to load one of my test runs, which was exactly the same strategy. Guys, what's going on? What is going on? Why are we losing now? Nothing changed. What the fuck is going... What is going on? What? What happened? No, what happened? Seriously. Oh my god, this game. This is the beta. Is this the beta? Is this the beta? Did I fuck up? No, this is the beta. This is definitely the beta. Why are we losing now? What? How broken does the game have to be? So luckily I had a test. No, we're losing. We're losing. What happened? What's happening? What the fuck is happening? You see? Okay, this is why I don't want to use the Navy. Fuck the stupid Navy. This is insane, boys. We have been testing this until like 10 seconds ago. And actually the game crashed like 5 times. So we restarted the game entirely. So I don't know what kind of bug is happening now. The same engagements we were winning 10 minutes ago, now we're losing. Why? Now we're winning again. But this one that we should be winning, we are losing. I give up. I guess there is a great deal of RNG involved as well. Or maybe the two versions are creating some conflict, or I don't know. I don't know what to say, but it's fine. Overall, I would say that we can consistently say that in general, I think it's bugged now for some reason, but I prefer to believe the test that we ran until 10 seconds ago. So this design is good, and torpedo cruisers, if you make the heavy one with this design, are a good choice. And they are followed, in my opinion, still by the torpedo destroyers being very good. But then, once again, if you can afford them in large numbers, I still think this is the best design in the game right now. If you can make enough. And it's actually not bad, the battle cruiser. The problem is it has less buffs overall and it has much higher visibility. But battle cruisers are also good. They get good light attack and heavy attack. But yeah, I would say this one first if you can afford a lot. If you cannot afford a lot, you go torpedo destroyers followed by heavy torpedo cruisers. In general, better not to invest in the Navy and just build what you need and naval bombers to scare the Royal Navy and just invade the UK and fuck this shit. Yeah, the heavy cruisers are much more resilient. Well, I mean, they don't die easily because they have a lot more HP for sure. So 196 HP versus the 136 of light cruisers and also the 40 of destroyers. So they have more HP. And the other advantage is, let's see if we can get in another battle, yeah, here. The other advantage is, of course, they are the backline, so the front line will soak a lot of damage. They still take a bit less damage than the front line, so that's another reason why. If they manage to fix submarines entirely, as you can see, the destruction of submarines is always useful. By the way, guys, we are testing this in a very challenging scenario overall. And look at this. This is very weird because in here we should be winning a lot faster than we did, and somehow we're not. Though at this point we could pick the torpedo expert probably. But as I was mentioning, we are trying a fight with the entire Royal Navy right away, and in the early stages of the war. There is no reason to do it that early, and when Italy gets involved, the Royal Navy will partially move to the Mediterranean, so you have at least one less that's stuck in here. So if you need to fight the Royal Navy, I would generally recommend waiting a bit longer, so the Royal Navy is not at least entirely in here when you attack them. How did our poll end? I think it's a perfect ending for the poll. So we have a... Where is the result? Yeah, yes, 67%, pizza 27%. Good answers. No, 6%. Those are the bad answers. Those are the non-convincing ones. Man, the Navy doesn't make sense. It's not you that you don't understand it. We have been testing it for like, what, 2 hours? Yeah, almost 3 hours. And we got consistent results for 1 hour and 30 minutes. And then for the last 20 minutes, it all went to shit for no reason. The Navy doesn't make sense. And they keep ruining it even more. So my advice is just ignore the Navy. Try not to use the Navy. The only design you really need, is this one here. This is what you need. Just make this one. Just make this one and get dominance, and then naval invade, and then don't play the stupid Navy. No, you're the optimist. Paradox always fucks up, always. By the way, guys, I want to show you something cool before we stop. I think it's yeah, it's here. Or here, I don't know. Probably here. So other than the fact that my run got bugged, so I for some reason didn't get the bear even when I was in Rome. So, you know, to get the bear, you need to own this province here, Hamadan. You need to have completed, we're talking about Poland in case you didn't understand. You need to have completed the research, no, the focus, sorry, the focus artillery modernization, which we did complete. You need the Soviet Union not to exist. The Soviet Union doesn't exist, although initially I thought this was what was causing issues. So I manually annexed it, but I still think this is maybe what originally caused the problem. So might be because of Polish Russia, because it counts as Russia, and it was my mistake because actually it's a core, so I should have just annexed them. I feel like though this is where the run got bugged, because in theory the Soviet Union should not exist for that to happen. Or you cannot be in an alliance with the Soviet Union better. And then you need to be non-aligned, and if you have her, you can also replace her with a bear. But what I wanted to show you is not that. What I wanted to show you is that, look at how ugly this is. In the war against the Axis, so maybe I have an earlier save actually. Yeah, here, this one could be useful. This will be in the guide, but after capitulating the Axis, yeah, I went all the way to Paris. So I kept pushing north, and I took the Netherlands, Belgium, and I also took Paris. In this way, let me show you. Yeah. So let's quickly capitulate Italy, so you can also see the bug happening live, which is fun.
Zbiórka! Gotów! Gotów, dowódco! Gotów do wymaszerowania!
Game, come on. Ah, because these guys are all going somewhere else. Oh my god, cannot show you. By the way, the event about the bear should trigger now, but it doesn't trigger. Yeah, we're not going to do it live. I have a better idea because I have the peace conference, so I don't need to show you like this. Yeah, okay. So if you do what? No, wait. Why? What the freaking hell? It's awesome how bugged this run can get. Why? Oh my god. Okay, no, it's this one. I just loaded the wrong one, I think. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is the right one. So yeah, that's the difference actually, so it's useful. If you push all the way to Paris, in the peace conference against the Axis, keep in mind that we are sharing the score with the allies, so we only have... it's bugged. It's 31%, but it doesn't show one of the many bugs. But the main point is if you puppet Paris, that's the only thing I want to show you, so I will ignore the rest. You get free France for free. Yeah, you probably already knew that. You also get Italy for free, so you don't need to annex their territory. But by just puppeting Paris, you get all of Vichy France for free. Which is cool. Which is cool. Except then Japan will attack you probably, but yeah. Bugs everywhere. Boys, thank you for watching. That's it for tonight. Bye bye.